The arguments for God are few and far between, at least the ones that have any sort of challenge in refuting. I know we've said it before, but Angel, please give us a new video that has a decent argument. Should we even bother? Well, that depends on the topic. I can't promise, but I'll try.
So what is math, and what does it have to do with God?
Not much! But, Angel... I'm sorry. Please go to the intro while I calm down a bit. I'm going to be honest with you. What you're about to watch is stupid. I have seen some stupid arguments for God, but this is really, really stupid. So today we might teach a few things about math, we might not, but what we will do is completely make fun of this idiot. Sound good?
You're an irredeemable monster!
Yeah, this is true, but I mean, are you ready to make fun of this guy?
Tally-ho!
Let's get started then.
Math is about numbers, and information about those numbers, and ways numbers connect to each other.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
But where do we find all this math? We can't see math, we can't touch math, we can't taste math. Math is only in the mind. We find it simply by thinking about it and figuring more and more things out.
So first of all, there are 7 senses, not 5. You are just lacking in 2. Horse sense and common sense. Anyway, math is only in the mind so much as words themselves don't exist. No one can hand you redness, or hand you a bucket full of blue. No one can hand you a box of pretty. But we know what these words mean as we have developed a language to describe in words what we see and experience. Maths are just another way of describing the things we see and experience. Like if you say you have 5 red balls, you know what I'm talking about. If I say the store is 6 kilometers from my house, you know how far the store is. Maths are a construct made by humanity to describe the world around us.
So, if math is only in our minds, but it also explains the natural world, then where does it come from?
It doesn't come from anywhere. It was developed and is still developing as new maths are invented to help us, like new words are invented to describe things. Like describing how the idea of this level of grade school silliness is actually going to be spoken by an adult. It's next level stupid.
There's 2 possibilities, really. One is that math is just something we invented to explain what we observe in the natural world, and that would mean the origin of math is natural. But the other possibility is that math is already there because it controls the universe, and we've discovered it. And if that's true, then the origin of math is supernatural.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is where he was going with this. The truth is, there isn't a math god in the universe. We didn't discover 1 plus 1. We came up with words to describe 2 things. The funny thing is, degrees of a circle are just made up by us. We could easily count and convert into a base 12 math system if we could start teaching it early. In the past, humans used base 12. Look at numbers in the French language. I mean, they count up to 69 and then move on to 6010, 6011, 6012, 6013 until they get to 6019. Then move on to 420s, 420s 1, and so on up to 99 that they call 420s 19. Then 100. What I'm trying to say is we made up the numbers to describe the things happening in the universe. Sometimes we're not that good at it. Lastly, on this point is to say we discovered math in the universe. That means it's supernatural?
Shut up! Shut up!
Exactly. It doesn't mean the maths are supernatural. They're still natural in origin. It just doesn't say anything about maths in general, which is why this argument is just stupid.
Here's why the latter option is correct. Math contains infinite information. There's an infinite number of numbers, each with their own individual properties, and there's an infinite number of numbers in between any two numbers.
Yeah, so what? There are numbers bigger than the number of particles in the observable universe. We use numbers that large like Graham's number in Tree 3, or Graham's number to the power of Tree 3, just as examples. And the fact that there are infinite number of prime numbers, or different sizes of infinity. Yes, different sizes of infinity. There are an infinite amount of numbers between 0 and 1. There's also an infinite amount of numbers between 1 and 2. So you could say that there is double the amount of numbers between 0 and 2 for a larger infinity. And infinites do strange things, like take the Infinite Hotel if you've never heard of it. Here's a thought experiment for you. Picture a hotel with an infinite number of rooms, and all the rooms are filled. Someone walks in and asks for a room. Can you give them a room if all the rooms are filled?
Yes!
Exactly. You put the person in room 1 into room 2, the person in room 2 into room 3, and so on all the way to infinity, and then put the new guest into room 1. How about an infinite amount of guests showing up? Can you fit all of them?
Yeah.
Exactly. You put the person in room 1 into room 2, room 2 into room 4, room 3 into room 6, room 4 into room 8, and so on and so on. This frees up all the odd-numbered rooms, and since there's an infinite amount of odd numbers, you just fit an infinite amount of people into an infinite hotel that had all the rooms filled.
Kinky.
Maths can be strange at times, and really cool, but not supernatural. I'm still waiting to see how this all gets us to God.
And we keep discovering things. Pi, which is the number that explains the area of a circle, has an infinite number of digits that we keep discovering by doing calculations. If we were just making this stuff up, we could make pi be whatever we want it to be, but we can't do that because we know that that's not true.
God made it up.
Wait, what?
In an impressive feat of stupidity, God declared pi was 3.
Really?
According to 1 Kings chapter 7 verse 23 and 2 Chronicles chapter 4 verse 2, where God had to write approximately or a synonym of the word to make it accurate, he didn't. So let's not talk about pi anymore. You know what? It's no good for you.
We know that all this information is out there somewhere, but it can't be in our physical universe because our universe is finite and math is infinite.
Is it though?
Maybe.
We don't know that now, do we? For all we know, the universe could be infinite, and the stuff in the universe is finite, or it could be infinite. Remember the bigger and smaller infinites idea from before? An infinite amount of particles could exist in a larger infinite amount of space. Another thought experiment. All the matter in the universe exists on a number line between 0 and 1 with everything else empty. You could have an infinite amount of numbers, and thus an infinite amount of empty space, while having an infinite amount of particles. Did I mention maths was strange as fuck? Still waiting for God to show up here.
That means math contains every possible combination of numbers, and if we use numbers as code for letters, then math contains every possible combination of letters as well. That means every book that has ever been written already exists encoded in math somewhere.
Yes, and all of human history is written there, and every possible world is a description of it, and the cure for cancer is there, but mostly it's all gibberish. Like the Bible.
But that's just the beginning. There's many pieces of evidence in math to show that math has a designer. Here's an example. One time someone discovered that this simple equation makes a very interesting shape when you graph it in the complex plane, and this is called the Mandelbrot set. But people have analyzed this shape and have found some very scary things about it.
Ooh. Yes, this is a fun thing. And it has to do with the existence of God in a way. You see, the set is fascinating because when you look at it, it creates an infinite pattern of shapes and designs that include the Fibonacci sequence. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, and so on, always adding the previous two numbers to get to the next number. But to have a designer for maths, this is going to be scary for you all to hear, but I agree. Some forms of math were invented by humanity and designed by humanity to aid us in explaining the world, discovering new ways of thinking so we can solve problems. So before I continue, let me say why the Mandelbrot set is like God.
Wait, what?
Well, just like the set of uses imaginary numbers, God is also imaginary.
Nailed it like the fucking Romans.
However, z equals z squared plus c is not the equation of the set. It is the function of the complex number c, which we will call z. Z equals z squared plus the complex number c, and then you repeat this function. If the number tends to infinity, it is not in the Mandelbrot set. If it is stable or tends to 0, it is in the set. The set itself creates an infinite pattern. It's very beautiful. I'll provide a link in the description to a Numberphile video for this. But for now, let's cut to the chase and skip over his fawning over the Mandelbrot set.
We did not invent this because we discovered it by accident, but we did not discover it in our universe. It has infinite complexity, so it can't possibly be in our universe because the universe doesn't have infinites.
Again, you can't assert the universe doesn't have infinites. It does have infinites. The circumference of a circle contains an infinite. Did we discover it? Yes. But does that mean it's supernatural?
Not today, Satan!
Basic common sense says that someone designed this, but no human designed it. Like we said, math only exists in the mind, so its origin must also be a mind. Math contains infinite information, so this mind must be all-knowing. Math controls the universe, so this mind must also be all-powerful. And math is beyond and outside of our natural world, so this mind must be supernatural.
And there it is. He's trying to describe God. Maths exists in reality, and it takes a mind to conceive of it and understand it. Yes, it contains infinite information. Maths would be useless if numbers stopped, and it would make no sense if there was a highest number. Simple logic should tell you that. Maths don't control everything. They describe things. Maths doesn't exist outside of our reality. They again just describe our reality.
All these numbers and mathematical facts exist in the infinite mind of God, but it's not just mathematical truth that exists in the mind of God, but also moral truth and any kind of truth at all.
Hold on.
Let's not start bringing up different topics. Stay on point.
Goodness, truth, and beauty are just mere opinions of the human mind, unless there is a supreme mind, God, who overrules all human opinions.
I said let's stay on point.
Because math is beyond time, space, and limits, the existence of math proves the existence of God because math is in the mind of God.
Much better. And no, it doesn't. It doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't mean that the square root of life is a pickle, or that the integral of y to 0 1 to 6 of pi is log to base e to the square root of 3 to the 64th power of what? I need to pick on my brain my own size.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was actually the end of the video and all he had to say about this. Equating that numbers containing infinites does not mean that God exists or that any deity built the universe. Maths is a language we use to describe things in our universe, and it has infinites built in because it would be stupid to think of a highest number. And unlike God, there are no pointless numbers. That being said, I am Corsi, and this is the Fluffy Atheist. Hit those like and subscribe buttons, and remember, if you faith around, I will help you find out what your Bible really says.